Hello, and welcome to Confessions from a Red Couch podcast. My name is Janae Strickland Nunn. I am your host. This podcast is all about the ups and downs of life, what we've been through, what we've conquered, things that we are going through, and just, the ups and downs, peaks and valleys, and all the other twists and turns that we call life. And today I am so excited to have two guests with me today. I'm going to introduce them both. My first one this is my left. Yes, my left is Erline. My bad.
It's
I'm
okay.
Speaking too fast.
Hey.
Erline Maingot. She has a podcast called Shall We Proceed?
Shall we proceed?
And I'm going to let her talk a little bit about that.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm so glad to be here. I love you so much.
girl.
You're so adorable. Yes, I have a podcast called Shall We Proceed? And it's around the same idea of bringing back real conversation and real dialogue. I love to feature people who have a purpose and a voice. Anything they want to promote, come talk to me, come be with me. We'll hang out, bringing up certain topics, just regular conversation you may have at the house, eating dinner with me and having a few drinks.
There it is.
There it is.
There it is. All right. And then to my right, we have Miss Tiffany Washington. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I am wonderful. So
Good.
y'all have heard me talk a lot about the women winning at Work Power Brunch. And so I decided to bring her on here so y'all can see that I'm not just making Tiffany up, like she's a real person. And so she's going to talk about what she does, and she's going to talk about a brunch as well.
Hello, everyone. Janae, thank you so much for having me on. I'm excited. My name is Tiffany A. Washington, and I help career professionals and emerging entrepreneurs to amplify their brand, accelerate their goals, and achieve freedom in their respective industries. Yes, and I do that through live and online events and personal, private, one-on-one business coaching. So one of the things that I have coming up is the Women Winning at Work Power Brunch. If you can't tell,
Brunch.
I love alliteration. But the brunch is really a place for people to amplify their brands. People who want to get started but don't know where or how to start. This is the perfect place for you. Yes. So Janae is one of my beloved clients, actually. And she has accomplished so much since we started working together. And I'm just wanting to tell you that the podcast is awesome.
Thank you.
It's been a joy seeing you grow.
Thank you.
But the brunch is going to cultivate people who are just like Janae, people who are trying to navigate their way through their business experience, and we're going to help you to do that with tons of different guests. And there are only 5 days left.
5
Janae.
days. Y'all have 5 days.
5 days.
5 days.
left.
That's all you have is 5 days. So y'all better get it together.
Yeah, so you can get your ticket within 5 days,
Yes.
but the actual brunch is on June 7th for VIP and June 8th for the main event.
Yep, I'm excited. I want to be
too.
there. Like I'm doing like a double trip type thing to make sure I get there and back and forth. But
Dedication.
I'm making it. I'm making it. So guys, I'm so happy that you came tonight. Like,
Thank you for having
I'm
us.
excited to have you guys on. So let's start this thing off
Let's
right.
get it.
We're gonna start this thing off right.
Hey.
Hey, got in the house tonight. Hey. Okay. All right.
Focus. Focus.
Okay. So let's talk about random lessons in dating. And so honest dating or not? Why aren't people honest when dating? Like, what are we doing? I love you guys. I'm so happy I'm not dating anymore.
Man, you don't miss
can't
dating?
do it. No, I don't miss any of it.
So you want to know why
Zero.
people are not honest in
Yeah,
dating?
why do we think people aren't honest in dating?
I feel that people are not honest in dating because very few really want the honest truth.
That's true.
And that's even with yourself and to someone else. I was telling someone the other day that many of us want to date and be out there, but they're not honest with how they balance life.
True.
Are they really ready? Are you healed, men and women? But they want companionship. So they just want a body
Yeah.
to do things with.
Gotcha.
But when it's time to advance the growth and make it be more than what it is, they find issues. Well, I told you, you don't understand. You need to be honest with yourself. Are you ready right now
That is so true.
to date
To date.
with the so-called purpose that people say now?
Yeah.
People wasting people's time.
And that makes me angry.
So,
Don't waste my time. Tiffany, what do you think?
I really think it's about the lies that we tell ourselves that we don't realize that we're telling ourselves, which causes us not to be honest with the people that we're with.
So true.
You know?
Speak on it.
Yes.
Speak.
So sometimes we lie to ourselves about what it is that we want in relationships. We lie about who we are to ourselves. And sometimes we lie because we don't really know who we are. So we can't be as honest to ourselves because we don't take that time to get to know ourselves before we hop into a relationship in the first place.
That's true.
So it's a lot of unpacking that has to go on internally before you get into that relationship.
That's true. It's like some people want to it's like they can't let go of that representative. You know, like let me act like this is me all the time, and it's not. It's exhausting. Like stop.
Oh my gosh.
Just stop.
Yes.
I mean, the judgment is real, though. Unfortunately,
It is.
You know,
It is.
I'm in this other group, and someone asked a question, whatever it was, and I said, judgment is real.
It is.
I do not care what anyone says. People judge you based on they want to be you or have your confidence because you walk through life unafraid. So they judge you to bring you down, or that's not their frame of reference, so that they're not used to seeing certain things. And then if you're not strong, you think, well, maybe I shouldn't shine my light so bright, so let me just sit down and just stop doing what I'm doing. And no one has time for that.
Nobody has time for anybody
Time
to
for
just
that.
stop. Like I don't know. I just like to stop your shine. I always feel like if anybody asks you to stop your shine, that means they're not comfortable with your shine, and that means that they can't be comfortable with you.
Yes.
And I take it back. I remember my very first ever for real boyfriend in college. He could not stand my shine, like my personality, any of that. Like it was just like, oh, it's too big. You need to dull that down.
Yeah.
Oh, you smile too much. Stop smiling. Child, no. No.
You should
No.
never have to dim your light for
Exactly.
somebody else.
Exactly.
That's not the person for you.
If they can't handle you,
Yeah.
back it up. Just
I'm
say,
done with
I
that.
can't handle you.
I've dealt with that before.
Yeah.
Well, and someone tried to come back into my life, and I have an issue with that. If you think I'm this grand or I have all these things, I'm like, that's a turn off.
Let me tell you something.
That's a turn off to me. Well, I just felt, because you have this, and this. Well, first of all, that's bills and responsibility, because no one told me adulting was going to be this real. And if just me, just encouraging me.
Yeah.
People look at me and swear, and you hear it, Erline doing so much. I'm really at home asleep. I was asleep all weekend. Right. And, I'm trying to be out there more, but I'm an introvert, but that's too much for me. So, you must. So I assumption. I'm assuming that you got a lot.
I'm assuming you got a lot going on.
But you know what? People can be left to their assumptions because we are only showing them snippets of our lives.
That's true.
And you have the opportunity to take with that what you will, and we create stories about people based. Oh, she's probably like this, or she might be stuck up, or she might be this or that, or she seems really down to earth, and they can be the crappiest person alive. I mean, so you can't make judgments off these snippets of life that we show you. I show you exactly what I want to show you on social media because I have control over my narrative, over my story. The only people who really know you are the people who are inside of your circle.
Inside of your circle.
Who you allow in that circle. Absolutely.
So we get so caught up in making those assumptions, especially if for those people who have gone on dates that met each other on social media, for example.
That's true.
That's where you can get into a whole lot of trouble.
That's
you
true.
think these people are great. I've been propositioned on social media. And I'm like, child, if you only knew. And they laid out all of the assumptions of what they thought about me. And I'm like, oh, that's totally opposite of who I am. Sorry.
That's not it, kids.
We have heard some things.
That is not it, kids. I think that is it. Social media has ruined dating.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I don't think it's ruined dating.
What do you think is ruined?
I think it's allowed people to be more fake and hide behind something.
Okay.
Dating has always been straight BS if you want to be BS. But
True.
I think with social media now, it is heightened. You can't hide, or they put on these fake fronts.
That's true.
And so then when you meet them finally in person,
So it's that that's what I'm saying. It's that representative.
Yeah.
Like,
so it does kind of ruin dating.
It does.
Because everybody falls in love with the representative, and then, like you said, like you think I'm doing all this moving around, and really, I just want to take a nap. I tell people,
I love my nap.
I'm just in the bed.
I say it all the time. Do not fall in love with that profile pic. Let me tell you something. I'm real regular in real life.
Please don't.
Okay, I'm real regular in real life.
That profile pic, baby, I done fluffed this hair.
Listen,
down the right angle.
Exactly.
It's early morning. The water weight is gone.
Right.
I'm looking real fresh. I'm
looking
laying
real
back.
nice.
So don't, please,
don't
sir.
get it twisted.
Please, sir, don't
do it.
No, sir. No, sir.
I remember, I think, telling Chris about that. Like, well, I did travel a lot before. I ain't gonna lie. I traveled a whole bunch before I met him. But he was like, you always on the go. And then when he spent like a weekend with me, he was like, oh, you really didn't do nothing. Like, you really like to be at home. Yes, I love my bed. Like, this is what I love. You might see me in people's pictures and whatever, and I might have stayed maybe 15 minutes.
Yeah. Got all of the photo ops. And then, like, bye.
Hey, kids. Hey, we're done taking pictures. Holla at y'all. I'm going to sleep. Like, don't let that representative
stay. Like, Erline's leaving.
Yeah, done told all her business. I'm going to tell her business now. So we were at a crawfish boil.
Absolutely.
She was trying to roll out real quick. I was like, where you going?
She
you
did.
trying to leave?
I was like, this is what you're doing? She kept watching me, too. Like, get your eyes off of me. I was trying to grab stuff real quick and load my car up real quiet.
That's, what, as much as I do in front stage, I'm really more of an introvert, I guess, or maybe a hybrid of introversion and extroversion.
Right.
But I like my bed, too.
I
love my naps. I took a nap today.
Isn't it glorious?
Glory.
Wait till I get home.
Glorious.
It's gonna be great.
That bed. I can't wait till the first day I don't have to wake up. Like, I get to turn off all my alarms. And I'm just going to be like, this is going to be my exact face.
Relishing in the fact that you get to stay in the bed.
It. All right, let's move on to some social randomness. Let's talk about some of these things going on in the social world of
social media. So this big one, Morehouse graduates this is what I like to do. I like to do hashtag winning. Baby, somebody would have came to me and said, hey, guess what? While you're graduating, I'm going to give you another present. You know those bills, all those loans, they gone. You ain't got to worry about them.
You know what? I don't think that they, I don't know. I only saw some of the reaction of the crowd, but I don't think they really understand the gravity of the gift that they have been presented with. They don't understand.
Someone's going to mess it up.
Yeah. You think somebody's going to mess it up?
Listen.
You think so?
You walking out of here debt free? Oh.
Well, the thing about it is, like, if you I went to a private institution, Dillard University. So it's a private school. So tuition was much higher than state tuition. And one of the things that I realized is that interest compounds for real.
It does.
And so quickly. And you can end up on a whole year's salary real quick. And so wait a second. Yes. And so what some of those Morehouse graduates may or may not understand is that it takes years and years and years and years to pay that off.
About 15.
Or to 25.
25 to 30.
Yeah. For real. It's like a whole extra.
If you deferred enough, it's 25 to 30.
So I think that I'm happy for them.
I am too.
And I think like you said, to not mess it up means that you have to understand what being debt free means you and how important it is. And use the money that you may have had to use to pay those loans off to invest it back into yourself and invest it into the other monetary areas of your life.
So true. I think it's a good, especially for those budding entrepreneurs who are in college, like, they don't have to worry about, well, let me figure out how to get this part-time job and, and pay this off and try to start a business. Like, whatever they have is what they could put into themselves. Right. And it's not a lot of people who can do that. Because think about it, when I was in college, 18 years old, the first thing I saw on the quad or in the little commons area was Discover Card.
Handing out credit cards.
They prey on college students.
Yes, they do. And they like, here, get this card and we'll give you this T-shirt.
They're not allowed on campus anymore.
Thank God.
They banned them from doing that.
That's good. Because I know a lot of people our age who...
Oh, yeah, but they'll find other ways. They'll be at the mall or they'll be, somewhere close to the campus.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
and unfortunate, but yeah, like kudos to them. I'm proud of them. I hope those
really
young
happy
men
for them.
do
Absolutely.
like well. Like
Yeah.
I feel like that class can do some amazing things because they don't have Sally Mae or Nelnet or whoever else.
Navient.
AKA
Yeah.
the mafia.
The
after you.
mafia. Okay, and this is my thing for this. Like, why can the hackers go in and like hack? You can hack these different data dating sites and get the information, and you can hack, all this other stuff. Why can you not clear out everybody's credit? So,
Right.
dear hackers, if you are listening,
You have one job.
you got one job.
Yes.
If you really want to make America great, how about you do that? How about you just clear everybody's
Listen.
debt? Some people be real mad, but that's okay. Us middle class folks that's just trying to make it and work hard.
I would act so
Hey.
right. I wouldn't buy anything.
Baby,
I would. I'll be scared. I'm like, let me just keep it clear for a long
right,
time.
let me just not touch anything.
Yes, I'm paying cash for everything after that. I don't want it. I don't want it.
But you
Yeah.
know what? That really also speaks to the culture that we have inside
Mm-hmm.
of our communities. I went to an HBCU, and that wasn't a conversation that we had a whole lot.
Right.
It was
Yeah.
just about how can we get you in here? We'll get you the money so that you can
Yeah.
get started.
Yeah.
But they're not telling me, well, how can you best navigate this once you graduate?
Exactly.
Or what are some of the tools and skills you need in
Yeah.
order to grow your wealth once you do graduate?
Yeah, like
That's
that.
why I'm actually quite envious of people who made it, if you will,
Yeah.
but didn't go to school. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's just like, wow.
Because you don't have that. They don't have that.
They don't
They
have
do
that.
not have
There was
this.
someone saying that they wanted to eliminate some of these math classes and add finance and how to manage your money.
I think they should do it in high school.
Yeah, in high
In
school.
all honesty,
In
I
high
really think
school.
they should do it in
Yeah.
high school.
Yeah.
Because if you could talk about personal finance in high school,
Yeah.
like think about how, but they're not, because people gotta make credit off of. They gotta make money off of credit card debt.
Mm-hmm.
Because people make money off of credit card debt.
Money
So
management should be
It should be.
class.
It should be a class. Is it? No. Should
It's
it be?
not,
Yes.
but it
More
should
than
be.
a class, it should be a whole curriculum
Yes.
that follows you throughout
Through-
your 4 years of
That's
high
true.
school and through college,
true.
and it should build on
That's
each other.
true.
You know what? You know what?
Yeah, let's do
We're
that.
gonna do that.
We're
That's
just
an
gonna do
idea.
that.
Yeah.
Look what has happened. Birth.
We're just gonna do it.
We had a whole idea.
Like, I just feel like the kids these days, they need it.
Mm-hmm.
And they can handle, I would say they can handle, but they can't handle stuff. Just working in high schools, you look at them and be like, baby, you stressing because you got a B in a class?
Listen,
Baby.
when them taxes come through on that house,
Baby, let me tell you. So, yeah, I think, we just talk
Yeah,
about that.
let's do
see what
something
we can
about
do
that.
now.
I was here for it, y'all.
Yes.
Let's mark this date. Let's mark this date down.
What's today? May 29th.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
y'all, let me do quick. I want to shout out my parents. Today
Yes.
is their 30th anniversary.
Yes.
Woo, woo.
It's
Happy
their
anniversary,
anniversary.
Bruce and Lorinda. I am so just amazed at y'all and proud of y'all because y'all stuck it out. Y'all are the best, just image and picture of a partnership in marriage, and I appreciate y'all. I love y'all.
Yeah, happy
Love y'all
anniversary.
kids.
Anniversary.
Little crazy kids.
Yes.
All right, let's go on to the next one. Harvard or no? So recently, all these wonderful, I wouldn't say all of them, but we've been seeing on social media, I have celebrities talking about they got accepted into Harvard. The main fake was, yes, I said fake. The main fake was Black China. Is that girl name? The one
You
that
asking me?
That girl's name is Black China. She had this whole letter that was typed out. She took a picture, posted it on Instagram.
Did it say Black China on it? Like it
No,
had
it
her
said
stage
her
name?
real name.
Oh.
It actually had a real name. But people were so mad.
Like how her ass? Oh, I'm sorry.
no, that's what they were saying. No, you're right.
Okay. I didn't know if I could curse on your podcast.
You're fine.
I'm sorry.
There's
You
only
know-
2 words you can't
know.
say. So
Okay.
that's all right.
Okay.
But
Hallelujah.
yeah, people like the alumni were calling in to Harvard, and they were like, how can y'all? And so she had to go on and talk. She is a fake. I was just playing. Nah. Yeah.
She was faking it?
She faked it. It was a fake letter. Like,
Oh,
it turns
no.
out there's like this whole agency that will print out letters like that. They will even print out fake diplomas if you want them to.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, if you pay for it.
So that's a whole separate conversation to have. Like, why do you feel like you need to be validated in that way when other people have worked for it? Just like Black China has worked for some of her fame, whatever it is that she's famous for. She did some work. You know, so why not?
She has some work done.
Put that same effort. Oh.
Well, that goes also into the whole paying for your child to get into school. That whole thing. Like you have kids out here who are really busting their butt to get the grade, applying, trying to find the money to apply to these schools and do these tests and all these things, and you're just paying $30,000.
Yeah, to get a letter.
No, see.
Yeah. But that speaks to the culture that we're currently living in, and the people who are serving as role models for these students who are
like you're just
because somebody look up to Black China. I don't know who. But somebody look up to her.
It's good that it's nice to make it where you're open. Stop it. You're opening up these hard schools to offer something for everyone. So it's like everyone can get some type of extra education.
Right.
I get it.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah. Because Sierra was the one who now, like, she got but it's a correspondence class. It's not like. But you get what I'm saying? Like, I get the correspondence class. I would be happy to get take a correspondence class. But a correspondence class is different from saying, like, I went to the University of Missouri. I can say that. Not, I took a couple of classes online.
But then you'll have someone say, "Why are you downing?"
I'm not
me.
Downing
No, not you. But you'll have that one. So now because you have this, you went somewhere, you're thinking you're better.
Right?
No,
that's not it.
It's the work.
Put in that work.
It's the work that went behind it. Now you're making it easier for people just to. And I'm not saying it should be difficult, but when you had to put in some years and get them loans behind you, other stuff,
the loans and the whole, everybody's accepted, type culture. Like, well, if you let her in, you should let me in. Not the same, but whatever.
Yeah, it's not the same. Not the same.
I've never heard of it. I've heard of correspondence classes, but just I don't know.
Yeah, I would really be curious to know exactly what goes on in those courses.
It doesn't hold any weight, unfortunately. It's
right. And how often do they have to show up? Is it
it's
just
probably
something
all
that
online?
they
Everything now is online.
Yeah.
And the books can be downloaded through Kindle.
That's true.
I wish they did that back in the day.
That makes me, you can just Google it and your textbook will come up. I paid $400 for a textbook one time. $400, and we did not crack that bad boy. It was
so mad about it, and they make you get it.
I have no words.
I think corresponding courses should be in addition to what you already have. Like
you should be accepted to the school, actually taking classes, and you can.
This is like something additional type of thing, like certifications. Like this is additional.
I feel
not
that.
Just no.
I feel that
they can do that at junior colleges. Why not?
Well, the thing about it is people like Sierra who've already, air quotes, made it, who've already put in the work and time to be successful inside of their career.
Exactly.
It seems like maybe the flip side of that would be that they have something else to offer to the university versus the university giving them a piece of paper.
That's
so
true.
Here in Houston, we have what's the name of the Bun B? Yeah. Bun B. Doesn't he teach at Rice or he used to teach at Rice? Something like that.
Like a class at Rice or U of H.
And to me, that's the route that we need to be taking. So there are no airs put on in that way.
Right.
He's actually accomplished something that most people wouldn't be able to teach you how to do.
Right. True.
And he's able to go in and talk about whatever from experience and whatever his level of expertise is. And that's something that adds value to the people who are there. How is that little Harvard piece of paper adding value to people like,
it's not.
I don't understand it.
When you put it like that, it's not. Yeah.
It's not at all. I just feel like
no one wants to listen to Sierra. They're not gonna take Sierra's course on entertainment. I'm sorry.
They could. I mean, she has.
She could teach a dance class.
Okay. There are so many different things that she can do.
Sierra have a class, and then you have what's his name? Beyonce's dad,
Matthew Knowles,
has a whole thing at TSU. You're gonna go to his because he's
that's true. He
It's a superstar.
He's a superstar.
Yeah.
And he has Destiny's Child.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that people like Sierra still have something to offer. She still has hits.
Absolutely.
She
Absolutely.
still, I mean, there's something that's there that the people who would be attending her class don't currently have.
That's true.
So
absolutely.
Want that prayer.
It's really about figuring
all
out
they
what
want.
For Russell Wilson. That's something
want.
she can offer. That prayer she
Ooh,
prayed for
wow.
Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Teach that prayer. Teach that prayer, sis. Teach it.
You got to pray with purpose, and you have to work your prayer.
You
Stop
have to
the
work
madness.
your prayer.
But
Stop
pray with
just
purpose.
thinking it's like a genie.
You can't
He's
just
like
say
a
it's
genie
like
in a
where he
bottle.
at. He gonna fall out the sky. And it may not be Russell. Okay, it may not be Russell's money or career. So be whatever.
Yeah.
Be ready for whatever
Be
you
ready.
get.
Yes. Hallelujah. Okay. Yes, Lord.
All right, and the last thing. Notice that all of this has to do with people who just don't like some people just. So Meek Mill is getting some help from the prosecuting attorney in Philadelphia because his judge is bogus. They said it. I didn't. I'm just saying. They said it. I didn't. They said that she actually has a bias and that they should be given. He should have a new judge appointed and a new trial. Because of some of the janky, yes, I said janky, the janky things she's been doing. Like she's been showing up at his community service events, and she's been, she told him at one thing to change. So he's with Rock Nation with Jay-Z,
Right.
He's on that label. She told him, well, maybe you should switch labels, and she offered her cousin. Her cousin has a record label. You should switch labels and go to my cousin's label. And she can't do that. She's a judge.
Yeah, she can't do that at all.
Right. How could you? You could.
I'm baffled.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm
he's not encouraging this. She's doing this all on her own.
she's doing this on her own, and she's over his case.
Oh.
So yeah. So
then he feels more pressure.
Yeah. So the
That's not
prosecuting
right.
attorney was just like, we really think, as the city and people, whatever, we really think he needs a new trial and a new judge. So it's a lot to have the people who are, judging you telling you,
you're doing too much.
I'm with you. She's doing too
she's
much.
doing too
So,
much.
yeah,
Absolutely.
she's just overstepping her bounds and being real. Real. I think that's shady.
It's very
Because
shady.
to me, that's abusing your position and your power.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because you hold his freedom in your hands and you're like, yeah.
Yeah, it really just goes to show that no matter how much we try to do to right our wrongs, people are still going to look at us the way that they look at us.
Absolutely.
And regardless of what position they're in, as far as power is concerned. But she's definitely abusing it. And I do agree, if she's doing those things, everybody has a right.
Everybody has a right to
the fairness that comes with
true.
being judged, because
So
I understand we have to obey the laws of the land, if
Yeah.
you will. But we have to carry ourselves accordingly when
we
we're in
do.
positions
And the sad
of power.
thing is, if he wasn't Meek Mill, who had people around him, he's well known enough to help him.
Yeah.
If you're a regular person getting that type of intimidation,
Right.
what do you do? And
What
who's
do
going to
you
listen
do?
to you?
Nobody.
Yeah.
He's
Nobody
so
can
well
listen to
known.
you,
They
yeah.
see you at the cookout.
Exactly.
Ma'am, what are you
They
doing?
see you. They see you
So,
there.
yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
It's total taking advantage of power, like you said, taking
I
advantage of the power.
So agree with that.
And so many people have done that. So
Unfortunately. That's true.
Yep.
Yeah. So I wish him well. I'm excited because I think Jay-Z even paid for like his new attorneys or whatever
Oh, okay. That's
to
good.
take care of his case. Jay-Z kind of
Good deal.
To have that much pull as like a former entertainer now, Jay-Z's on the come up. I applaud him and Beyonce. They do big things.
Agreed.
I do. I applaud them.
You cannot-
They do a lot, and
They
a
do
lot
a
of things
lot.
people don't even realize they're
Yeah.
doing. They do a lot,
And
which is cool.
they move in silence. Like they don't. You
as
don't
you
hear
should,
from their mouths.
as you should.
Like you end up being like, hey, such and such said Jay-Z and Beyonce did this. And you're like, what, really? And I remember a lot of folks were like, they were talking down on Beyonce. I don't know how I got on Beyonce. I'm sorry.
You were talking about how
yeah.
Jay-Z was helping
doing
Meek Mill, and that turned into Beyonce.
But how people like judge her so much, and they're
Yeah.
like, she just blah blah blah, and she does this and that. But then you hear about the things that she's doing outside of that. If the same people, her critics, had the same were in the same position as her, would they do the same thing?
Nope. Not
And
at
they
all.
wouldn't. You know, you could talk about how woke she isn't or how you don't think she's doing enough for the black community, but you have no clue what she's doing because
Well, this is the thing. It's entitlement all the way
Exactly.
around. We talk about white privilege
Yes.
and white people having entitlement, but we have our own personal
We do.
entitlements. We think that we should know everybody's business
Yep.
that's inside of
That's
on the
true.
media.
Yeah.
We think that we should be in everybody's pockets
That's true.
and we should spend everybody's money.
That's true.
That's not okay.
And that's not our
Where did
business.
we even get that from?
I don't understand.
And the
that.
sad thing with that is this, we're in people's pockets, we're in people's business, but the main ones who are rallying these, what are you doing, cannot, have not, and will not do
Exactly.
anything for
Half of
anyone.
what they're doing.
And then they're not even doing their own research. They're just speaking off of random what someone heard, what they heard.
Exactly.
Oh, they didn't do anything. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Because Beyonce's been doing it, and which is one of that topic. Her and JC have been doing a lot for a very, very long time.
But you haven't heard about
But then
it
when they
because-
do something, let's talk about Oprah. Well, you're not doing it the right place. How are you gonna tell me where I'm gonna spend my money?
or the right way. You're not doing it the right place or the right way.
It's like
we love to dictate.
how
others should live.
First
their
of all,
lives.
let me rock how I want to rock. And where are your receipts? What you doing?
Right. One of my favorite podcasts says, these are the things that'll help you out. Mind your business, drink your water, and stay in your place.
Yep.
Because if not, your black will crack.
It's just
So
we
just
should
mind
not
your
tell
business.
people what to
Yeah.
do with their money
We
and their
shouldn't.
time.
Ever. I wish somebody would tell me what to do with my
And
money.
get out more and do something for people.
Right? Instead of talk about it, be about
And
it.
any little small thing still matters. Do something instead of talking and being behind a keyboard or your phone. And
Do
just
something else.
Agreed.
mad
Do
nonsense.
something. All right, let's get into confession time. So if y'all see the topic, the title of this wonderful thing episode, it is Your Words Mean Things, Sis.
Things. I
They
love
do.
that. Okay.
They do mean things. And because they mean things, we are going to talk about what it means to be a woman of your word. And so I came up with this topic when I was on Erline's show, and we were talking about how we traversed the thunderstorms and the tornadoes and the hurricane force winds.
The hurricane force winds. Wow.
It's funny. That's hilarious. I
To
love
be
how you
on
put
her
that.
show, yeah, because we all wanted to be women. It's about being a woman of your word. If you say you're gonna do something, you're gonna do it, or you're gonna do it to the best of your ability if you can, and if you can't, just whatever. So I want to talk about that. So I'm gonna start off with Tiffany. What do you feel being a woman of your word means?
Being a woman of your word means that you stay committed to what you said you were going to do long after the enthusiasm in which you said it has passed. So even when I don't feel like it and it's time for me to do it 2 weeks after I've already committed to it, I'm still going to do it even though I don't feel like it, even though I'm tired, even though something else has come up. So for me, being a woman of your word means that you hold yourself to a personal standard of excellence and then you deliver that excellence to the person that you committed it to.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Erline, what does that mean for you?
It's so much responsibility to be a woman of your word or a person of your word. And you have to be, to me, willing to take the good and the bad with that.
Right.
Because being of your word carries so much weight and responsibility.
It does.
Because my word may not be what you want to hear sometimes.
And that's true too.
And
That's
how
good.
being a woman of
Yes.
my word means I may tell you no
That's true.
and stand firm on that.
That's true.
And to me, being a woman of your word, you know who you are. You live in your truth at the moment, because we can sway sometimes, but willing to love yourself enough to love someone else enough to say, look, here is the truth, here it is, take it.
Right.
I'm not swaying from
Right.
it. You can't sway me. And know that when I say it, I mean it, and I
Right.
do it. You may not like it, but this is who I am.
Truth. Yep.
And I think a lot of times the responsibility of being a person of your word, and as a woman, it's heavy because people want you to be what they want you to be at that time.
That's true.
And I'm not going to change who I am for your comfort
That's true.
and your feelings,
So
because
true.
you cannot handle what my word and who I am and what it is.
That's true.
It took a while to get here.
Mm-hmm.
It took some growth and understanding. And like you said, I say it, I'll do it. I do it with purpose. I put my all into it. So take it as it is. If you don't like it, I'm sorry.
Right.
And I expect the same thing in return, though, also. So don't come over here if you don't stand in your word and who you are.
Right. Okay.
So
I like that. Here's my next question. What happens when, like, you've said you're going to do something, you've tried it to the best of your ability to complete what you need to do, but it doesn't come through?
What happens at that
like,
point?
so how do we react to that, being a woman of your word?
I think the best thing to do is to be honest with whomever you made the commitment with and tell them, hey, I'm sorry. I had to do that just a couple of weeks ago because I committed to do something for somebody, but I couldn't pull through on it. And I knew that I wasn't going to be able to pull through on it. So I started prepping them early. Like, hey, I know I told you I would come do X, Y, and Z, but I actually have something else that has come up that has to take priority. So I will do my best to either one, get you a replacement because it was a speaking engagement, but it was for a friend,
Gotcha.
So it was a lot different than my career in speaking. So it's like, okay, I can come on a different date and we can do a different time. Like, so you need to try to make all of the modifications that you can possibly in order to mend that. And then there have been other situations where, like, no, her stuff is gonna fall apart if I don't do this.
Gotcha.
And so what can I do to make sure that the bottom doesn't fall out because of something that I said I was gonna do? So does that mean I need to lose sleep in order to get it done? Does that mean that other modifications need to be made in my life and things need to be put on hold so that I can honor my commitment? I don't think people understand that walking in a level of excellence means that you do have to make those modifications. You can't just not care.
That's true.
You can't you can't say, oh, I told her I would do it, but I don't feel like it today. That's not who we can't operate like that.
That's true.
That's not who we were called to be.
That's true. What about you? What happens? What do you think?
That's hard because it's really hard for me to ask for help. And I take on so much. So I've learned to, like you say, just say early enough, look, listen. I'm not going to be able to do this. Or ahead of time when they ask me, like, I know my plate's full. I will help in some type of way, but I'm telling you right now, it's not going to be 100%. So for me, it bothered me. It bothered me because I'm a perfectionist and I try to do all that I can, but I do so much by myself, and it's my own fault. Because if it fails, I only want to blame myself. I do not want.
I don't want anybody else
to have the wrath of me coming at you because I don't want that. So
true.
For me, it's a lot like what you said. I have to tell you up front and ahead of time, I'm sorry. I cannot. But I try really hard now to evaluate my calendar of life and see what can I handle, what I cannot handle. And I love you, but I cannot. And it may not be I'm doing anything. It's just I know mentally I'm exhausted. I do not have the energy. I'm drained. Sorry.
And see, and that's another thing. Like, I feel whenever you give somebody your word, or at first I think, because we all, try to be a woman. I think sometimes we need to evaluate, like you said, putting too much on our plate, or seeing, okay, how can I do this effectively? And I think sometimes just being a woman of your word, because we try, because we want things, we don't want the bottom to fall out, we don't want to always hurt people's feelings. And at times I think also being a woman of your word, you have to be a woman of your word to yourself too, because you have to say to yourself, self, are you gonna go crazy if you try to do this? Self, is your anxiety gonna go crazy, if you try to do this? And I think being a woman of your word is also expressing your boundaries. Like, hey, you want me to do this? Like you said, you want me to do this, but this is how I can do it. And under the short amount of time, like something got thrown at me Saturday, and it needs to be done by this Saturday. But in my mind, I'm thinking, there is no way I can do that. And I know for a fact. Now, am I going to get it done? Yes. Am I going to get it done next? Nope.
That's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. It's not. So I have to be, I'm going to relay that message to the person that wants, I'm not going to be able to do it. when you want me to do it. I could do it 2 weeks from now, because 2 weeks from now my plate won't be full and there will be room. You know, and I think that's a big thing with being a woman of your word, communicating that.
Right.
But have you found that being a woman of your word, we get taken advantage of so much?
Yeah.
And
I have
relied on so much because they know Erline got it, they know Jeanette got
they know
it.
they're
You
gonna
know, they
do
know
it.
you.
Look at that right there. Look at my mom. She said in her 30s, you can't be all things to all people.
Yeah,
Had to learn
I
to say
mean,
no. And like that goes with what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think one of the main things that we have to remember is that above everything else in our lives, we have to keep our promises to ourselves.
Yes.
Absolutely.
The promises that you make to yourself are by far the most important things. Because you're the only one who can live your life.
That's true.
And you're the only one that can make things happen for yourself. And so when you're giving from that empty cup and you're saying, I can do that. Oh, I can commit to that. And then there's nothing left for you.
Nothing left for you. That empty cup thing. I love that.
Yeah. What do you have for yourself? That's why they always tell you to give from the overflow, not from what's already in the cup, but from what's on the salsa.
Never go beyond your reach.
Because
you should never ever extend yourself where you're stretching.
Even on an airplane, like they say, when it's a crisis, what do they tell you to do first?
Put your mask on
first, and then take care of someone
else.
Take care of
somebody else, because you have to take care of yourself.
Right.
Because you can help everybody do everything all the time, and then you get back and you're like, God, dog.
A friend of mine was telling me that you take care of everyone else. When do you take care of you? And my niece was like, you need to learn how to do self-care, take care of yourself. I'm like, girl, leave me alone. But, it's true. And then now, I told y'all, I'm shutting the door, like the office is closed and people didn't believe me. I'm like, y'all need to leave me alone.
I get it.
Yeah, like the office is closed. I'm sending you an invoice. The office is closed. I'm tired. Because they know who you are. They know that you're going to give 110. You're going to be honest with it and they can lean on you.
Or they even know that even if you don't have a long timeline, a big timeline, they know you could come, like you said,
you can come through,
and it's gonna be good.
Yeah, right.
It's gonna be something they'll be like, oh, that's nice. I'm tired. I don't want to do that.
And you know what kills me is these same people cannot, in return, give you. They don't have it in them. And the excuses are real.
But you know what? This is what I find about that. People are so used to operating inside of mediocrity that they don't understand what excellence looks like. And that word keeps coming up for me because that's truly what I believe. True. And some people can't be excellent because they haven't seen what excellence looks like.
They can only work from their frame of reference.
Exactly. They can only work from their frame of reference and what they've experienced. And that's why it's our charge and our duty that when we do something and we do decide to be a woman of our word, that we do it with such a level of excellence so that they can see what it's like. But people do lean on us because of because they don't have the capacity, as you said. And when we find out that they don't have the capacity to do it, that's when they need to be a woman of their word and say, hey, I really don't know how to do this, which is why I'm asking you every single time to do it. And then it's our responsibility then to counter and say, well, let me either teach you how to do it so you don't have to keep coming to me, or let me show you where to find the resources so that you can get it done. Because I understand that we have to operate inside of our strengths, and we do have to pull together collectively to get certain things done. But it's not always going to be my responsibility, sis. At some point.
My patience is real thin. And the older I've gotten, I can't wait to be that old lady. And I just tell you, my patience is real thin.
Let me tell y'all, I'm not bad. I'm just gotten to a point where my no's mean no, and my yeses mean yes. And I'm not going to explain. I'm not going to tell you why. I'm not going to, I'm not going to do any of that anymore, because if I said no, I meant no. If I say I'm not going to be able to do it, there's not no amount of talking.
But what brought you there though? What was the catalyst? What was the straw that broke it?
I got tired of my anxiety being flared up by other people. Your emergency or your situation has really no effect. It's not my issue. And because you need me at the last minute does not mean that's not my issue. That's not it. It's not my emergency.
That's good.
And that's not something I'm going to take on. I'm not going to lose sleep because you didn't plan right. I'm not going to lose sleep because I'm just not going to do it anymore.
Your crisis is not my emergency.
There it is.
Put that on a shirt, sister.
Right? Your crisis is not my emergency.
When
So
did you
I'm
get to
not
that
gonna
point in
do
your
it.
life?
Where I decided that I wasn't going to allow people
Yeah.
to come in. I think I got to that point when I saw that other people were kind of using
Yes.
me. Because the thing about it is, I'm talented in multiple areas and I can do multiple things well, as all of us can. But when I started showing that to people, I started getting grabbed in those directions. It's like, can you do this? Well, then can you do this? Can you do this? That includes at church. That includes with my friends. It's okay for you to acknowledge that I have these gifts and talents, but it's not okay for you to repetitively ask me to do something and then I
Right.
get sick from it.
Yes.
And that was the turning point for me.
Right.
I'm comfortable telling my mama no.
Yes,
At this
I
point,
am too.
it's just like, Mom, I'm sorry, no. I know you gave birth to me, but no.
But baby,
I
I
know
love you, but I can't do that.
Yeah, I cannot do that.
I
I cannot
cannot do
physically
that.
do that. And I had to tell even my mom that at a certain point. It's like, Mom, I can't, because it's too much stress on me.
Yes.
And I still have to live my life, and I don't want to live a life that's filled with anxiety. And I don't want to live a
stress
life that's filled with me feeling everything that you need and not
Right.
doing enough for myself. And not to
Right.
say that that's the exact conversation that we have, but we have to have real conversations
We
with
have
people.
to. We
And
have
that's
to.
when we stop having real conversations, that's when we start internalizing.
Truth.
And that's when we start feeling a certain way about
Truth.
people, holding on to resentment, holding on to anger.
My grudge is
yes,
strong.
So it,
Truth.
yes,
It
keeping
is.
grudges.
Yeah,
True.
so
Yeah, and
I'm
all of that
I'm
is
still
not
working on me.
necessary.
See, I don't even,
working on
I
me.
don't hold it against them. I just look and be like, well, I couldn't
just-
do that one for you.
Yeah.
How you feel about it? Because I'm okay. I
mean,
am
yeah.
really that way. I'm like, how you all right?
I
'Cause-
realized very
Yeah.
young that I was not living my life for myself. And being the youngest in my family, amongst my siblings, and the distance in age and the way the dynamic was set up, I felt like I had to be the caretaker, all these things.
Right,
And for a very long time, I didn't live my life for myself. But when I did, it was like, oh, you mean?
Yeah.
I've always been this way. You just didn't know it. And when you're not always, she's me. You know how she is. Yeah, you know how I am. What?
And
And
Yeah.
my no is no.
my yes.
I'm
is
not
yes.
coming. I'm sorry. Why not? Don't wanna.
Really didn't feel like doing
didn't really
it in
feel
the
like
first
doing it,
place,
you
and I
know.
don't feel like you smiling in my face.
Yeah. So you can't just call me when you want something.
Don't want me.
Thanks. I'll be MIA.
Boundaries.
In my comfy bed.
Yeah.
You know. But it took some time. It took some years for me to get there. It took moving away where no one knew me and coming back. It took death in family and just for me to say, you know what?
That's true.
I have to live my life for myself.
Yeah.
I still be the woman of my word, and I'll still be there for you and all these things, but
I just can't do it.
I gotta take care of me first
Can't do it.
and find a life for myself first.
Gosh, yeah.
Let me exhaust me. I can't let you exhaust me. Let me exhaust myself,
That's good.
and that's in every area. Because you're still living your life, having a wonderful time, while I'm over here tired.
I'm over here tired, and you looking at me
Need
like,
a
why
drink.
you tired? What you tired for? I think the biggest part for me, like where I really shut things down, was when I got my blood clot. And because I was running, and y'all, I didn't even want to go to the hospital when I had my blood clot. I thought I just had gas, and I was in pain. I couldn't walk up steps. Like I was bent over, and my mom was like, "You need to go to the doctor." I was like, "I'm not going to." I woke up at 2:30 in the morning, went to CVS. I was like, "I'm fine. It's just gas. I'm gonna take a gas X and take."
How long does gas last?
Child,
Oh my god.
not that long.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I remember like being in the hospital and still worried about things, and then coming out of the hospital, and the doctor assigned me with they give you kind of like a social worker when you have that big type of lifestyle change or whatever. And she was like, "Oh, we're gonna assign you like a therapist or somebody." I said, "A therapist for what? I don't need a therapist. I'm fine.
Denial.
I'm fine. I don't need a therapist." She the therapist was like, "Okay, so we're going to go through this questionnaire. We're going to see about your anxiety." It's like, I don't have anxiety. You mean those little things that feel like heart attacks? It's not anxiety.
Oh, I had
Yeah,
one.
panic
also.
attack.
Right.
I felt like the other thing was on my chest.
Same.
And I did for years. I didn't know what's happening. So I said, let me just sit up in bed because clearly I shouldn't lay down
clearly,
right now. And my
it's a
whole
heart
left arm
attack.
is numb. So clear something's not a heart
Wow,
attack.
the way we ignore things.
I was having anxiety attacks. I thought I was having a heart attack, but I wasn't going to
No,
tell
no.
you.
No, no,
I
no.
didn't want you worried about me.
Yeah.
But when I'm dead,
Yeah.
Because when I died, when I died,
literally.
then who's gonna do it when you die?
I was
You know
only
what
getting
I'm
like
saying?
2 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
wow.
If I would lay down and I'm like, oh wait, and I'm like rubbing the middle of my hand because
you
I'm
think
numb
it's just.
and my arm is numb. And
But
what's
you don't
going
wanna tell
on?
anybody
So I
'cause you
sit
don't
up and I'm like this, taking aspirin, not telling anyone
I'm
that.
not telling nobody that you're sick.
So of
Something
course,
ain't right.
Yeah, they did. I had a whole nuclear stress test with having the treadmill.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I've
y'all,
done that too.
I was
Yeah.
a whole lot bigger than until I'm like, I can't do this. Checking everything and saying, you're having anxiety attacks.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was like, it's not a heart attack. And they said, if it was, why you coming real late?
You're coming real
Okay.
late because
I
you
said-
should have been
You've
dead
ignored
already.
it
Yeah.
multiple times
Yeah,
over.
So I understand.
Yeah, that's what that lady told me. She was like, so we're going to give you a therapist and a behavioral specialist. I was like, what you talking about, sis?
Yeah.
What
And
do
I
you
think
mean?
that brings out the deeper
It
issue
does,
of
'cause
how we're afraid of therapy in the first place.
Exactly. But I wasn't scared then because
Yeah.
when they was like, you have an anxiety disorder, I was like, well, since you saying it, I guess I do. And we started going through things and she was like, you have a hard time saying no to people. I was like, oh, you know me so well.
Yeah.
you know me so well. And she was like, why is that? She was like, I just want everything and everybody to be good. You know, that was just the thought because I wanted to be a woman of my word. I'm from the Show Me State. Show me state. You don't talk about it, you be about it, you know?
Yeah.
So it was just all of that. And she was just like, girl, that's what I feel. I know she didn't say that, but in her head, I know she said, this girl crazy. If you don't sit down.
How long ago was that?
That was 2014, 15.
Recent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw my first therapist in
Yeah.
2017.
Yeah. That's when I met y'all.
2018.
That's when I met y'all.
Yeah.
Around that time. Yeah. Praise
Yeah.
the Lord.
Praise the
Yeah.
Praise the Lord.
But I mean, we need therapy for so
You
many
do.
different things.
I avoided
Yeah.
it for a very long time. My mom passed away in 2014, and my good friend and sister gave me a number, says call her. I said, okay. It sat in my phone. I saved the text message
don't do it.
on my
'Cause
thing
we
for a
don't
long
wanna do
time,
it,
and
'cause-
I did not call or make that appointment. Something happened in my life, and I was like, let me just go ahead. It was, it was 2017. It was 2017. Something happened, and it just broke me. And I said, I need to go ahead and go. February 2017 is when it happened. And I said, okay.
Let me
And
do
I
it.
sat on that couch, and she was just like, are you gonna be honest or not? I was like,
Yeah. 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 And that's another thing.
I said, I'm
I
not lying to you, because you're not being honest with yourself.
So you wouldn't be a woman of your word to yourself.
To myself, right?
Look,
exactly.
I
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
It's just amazing, like how we, and I think it's women, I think it's people all together. Like we try so hard to make things, our word is our bond, and we want to do things to make sure everybody is good, that we don't focus on us.
Right.
And it drives us crazy. Like we said, while everybody else is like, oh, you'll be all right.
Yeah.
Oh, you tired? Oh, you can take a nap after this.
Well, it's taboo in our community as a whole to seek help.
It
Yeah,
is.
absolutely.
So
Not for me.
pray
Jesus,
about
I
it.
will.
You'll be okay.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing. Spirituality and religion has taken over mental
Yes.
health, and that's the reverse needs to start happening. And I do
Yeah.
think that there is a wave of it coming through.
I think it
but
is
we
too
really
now.
have to be cognizant of the fact that we cannot pray everything away, because some of that stuff is a chemical imbalance.
It is.
That's science.
It is.
Some
doesn't have
passed
anything-
down
yes.
nonsense
Yeah.
from your
Yes.
family. That
Exactly.
yeah.
If
Yeah.
God
Yeah.
didn't want us to talk to therapists, why are there therapists? In my mind, that's what I say. Like, if God didn't want us to go to the doctor, why are there doctors? If God didn't want us to work out, why are there gyms all over the place? Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, we have to get out of this whole, like, you too heavenly minded that you are no good on earth. That
Right.
type of deal. Like,
Yeah.
it has to be connection.
Right.
It has to be a connection.
Use the
So,
resources
yeah.
that have been allotted to us here on earth
That's
that are
it.
all God given. Yeah.
Because they are. I mean, it is.
It is. Yeah. Absolutely.
It is. All right. Well, let's move on to the last segment. Hashtag lessons learned. Hashtag. And I actually got 2. I put one on here, but I got 2. But I'm going to go with y'all. Okay. Do y'all have any, like, old wisdom that your grandmas or your mamas or your grandpas even have told you that sticks with you? Like, at first when you heard it, you were like, girl, what? And now you're like, oh, that makes sense.
Well, one is don't let anybody give you any wooden nickels. And so, of course, that simply means don't let anybody get over on you.
Right.
Don't allow fake stuff to come into your life.
Truth.
You can interpret that in so many different ways.
Mm-hmm.
But because I wasn't necessarily street smart or street savvy, I grew up in a very middle class environment. I didn't know when people were, talking game to me and all of that.
Yeah.
And so they knew.
Yeah.
They knew the little 3 and 5-year-old Tiffany was eventually going to get taken advantage of in some way because I wasn't street smart.
I got you.
know? And that's a reality for a lot of people. So don't let anybody give you any wooden nickels.
Right.
Go test that thing out. Go back and do your research before you say yes or no or before you jump into something. Yeah.
That's so polite and sweet. My mom, God rest her soul, she used to say, "Don't eat your shit."
Oh, there it is.
And she's like, he said, once it's left your life,
to leave it, let it go.
Why are you picking it back up? There's a reason why it's gone. And my mom was raw. Love her. She was, and I understood what she said. You don't eat. No, once you walk away, and once it's left you,
just let it go.
Leave that wastefulness where it is. Don't go back, because when you go back, it's going to be worse. You're going to be sick.
Yep.
And you'll be mad at you, and you can only blame yourself. Only blame yourself. If you keep going back to the foolishness, do not be mad at anyone but yourself, because you're allowing that waste and shit to come back in your life.
Truth. And it's toxic.
And ever since, I don't do. And I think that's why I tend to, in dating, if we're done, I don't go back. And I fade to black really well. Like, this ain't working out. Okay, well, it's been real.
It's been great.
And I'm done. And I refuse to, unless there's a reason. It has to be a good reason for me to even entertain you again. But most likely, 95% of the time, I do not go back after someone has walked out of my life. I don't do it.
Y'all know me. My people out there who've heard me, once we break up, you don't exist. I don't know. I don't know who you are.
Wow.
I promise you, y'all. I mean, my friends will tell you, like, I will be like, it's bad, but I would be like, hey, how are you? What's your name again?
You act like you don't know.
I sure
you are.
will.
Oh,
wow.
I sure will.
You're a glass.
Or I won't even acknowledge that you
my
exist.
cold shoulder game is strong.
It is so real. Like,
this is the question that I have, because I do believe in civility.
Right.
And when I break up with someone, or any time in the past when we've parted ways for whatever reason, typically I try to end it with some type of civilness.
Right.
I've had one crazy.
Right.
Like, one that's just like, okay, you probably shouldn't mess with him anymore. But in most cases, it's just like, I can still walk away from you as a friend, if you will, meaning I can be cordial with you when I see you. I don't have to ignore you. Now, it might take some time. I might need to step back for a few months to get over it, get it out of my system, whatever. But, if I see you 3-4 months down the line, I might be okay. Because for me, exposure helps me to get over it, including time.
Yeah.
So I don't have to ignore you after a certain point, because I have too many circles of the same people. And so I'm eventually going to see that person again in one of the circles.
No, I haven't grown there yet. I'm still working. I'm working on me.
You know what? Actually, forgiveness is one of my strongest traits, as far as just being able to be in communion with someone. I forgive really quickly. I don't hold grudges.
See, I think I was gonna say I'll forgive them, but you still don't exist.
I can forgive, and I'm working on me. I may need to go back on the couch, but when you hurt me or hurt someone that I love and care for, I cannot even acknowledge you.
Right. Yeah.
And when I know you know what you're doing,
that's even worse.
it's a problem for me.
Yeah.
And for my for Erline's peace of mind, I can be in the same room with you and not talk to you.
That's
I'm
true.
good. If
Yeah,
it bothers you, that's
She can. I've noticed. I've seen
so.
I've
It's
seen
just,
it.
Wow.
I can't stand you. But what I mean is, if I know in the core of my soul I have not done anything to you, and you have an issue with me or you've wronged me, okay, I don't need closure.
Yeah.
I will not be okay. I don't need that.
I think for me, I understand exactly where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
If it's for me inside of a relationship, I'm okay. I don't have to give you the cold shoulder
Right.
unless you just really did something
Yeah.
outlandish. But if it's for somebody like my mom, for example, you cannot, she's off
Oh,
limits.
yes. Yeah,
Like you can't do anything to her.
Yeah.
You can't look at her the wrong way. You can't say anything
And see,
sly to
yeah.
her because she's the sweetest person on earth
Right.
as far as,
Right.
Yeah.
me knowing who my mom is. So for her, she's off limits, and I will.
Right.
The claws will come out over my mother. And so for people who are close to me that I know they've been done wrong
Right.
and they should not have been,
Yeah.
then yes, I could
I got that
definitely give the
issue.
cold shoulder. I don't have to hug you at church. If I see you, if I know you said something about my mom or did something about me, because that kind of stuff happens
and
in
that
the
was
black
that
church
shit- oh my
culture.
That was my
Yes.
last. Yeah.
Yeah,
that
I have
was-
to talk to you. I
Like,
mean,
I'm not talking to you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's not
I've
try.
had
Don't
that.
be. Don't
Yeah.
be. Nice.
Like,
Don't do that.
I
Don't do
can't.
that.
But it's just overall, when I know, it's like when I'm trying to, I am not going to take a lot of time to figure out what the deal was. You know what I mean? But if I know this is stupid, I'm real grown. I hate saying that. But
Yeah.
you're glass.
Right.
I can. You can be in the same circle, and I can't stand you right now. You can be in the same circle, and okay, but I'm not uncomfortable
Yeah.
because no one has to know.
No one.
No one will
But because
know.
I'm very observant. I see everything.
Because she watched me too much.
I watch
man.
everybody. I'm sorry.
She's
I'm
like,
nosy. I
can't
want
even
to see
sneak
what's
away.
going on.
But for
Yeah.
me, it's like I don't let. And one thing, I don't let the world know my business. No one will know anything like that. And there's been a few times things have happened, but other than that, I can see you. That was in the past. Okay, keep moving. Why are you talking to me? Because if you know me, you're like, why are you talking to me? You know I don't fuck with you. and I keep walking. I had to tell people that. Okay, I'm sorry.
It's all right. And that's it.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I have two. I'm gonna get mine out because I always think it's funny. So I guess my nana used to say this too, and my grandma Strickland. They used to be like, "Honey, please." So I knew when they said "honey, please" because I say that now, and it's so many things. Have you noticed there's so many things like they said that you thought you would never say, and now you just like, girl,
Yes.
child.
Keep on living.
Keep on living. Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
when they used to say "honey, please," I used to know they'd be like, "Ooh, you full of BS." Like, just let me tell you. And then my grandma Strickland used to say, and this is what I've always lived my life by: you don't need no piece of man. You don't need not a piece of man.
Right.
If he can't do something or whatever, you don't need a piece of man.
Absolutely.
And if you, I want to say the rest. I'm say it because it's my show and I can say what I want. She would be like, and if you need a piece of man for that, they got stores, they got a whole aisle in Walgreens that they sell them things in
It's
Walgreens
true.
now. She used to tell me that
Yes,
they sell
they
them things
did.
in Walgreens. She said, light you some candles,
Yes.
some music, and you
Grandma
can
was
take care of
serious.
yourself. She
Thank
don't
you.
need
Oh
no
my
piece
gosh.
of man for none of that. And I've always lived my life by that. So
Wow.
if I see anything shady going on, or that's still like let something happen right now, child, you can go. I'm fine. I was fine before you. I will be fine after you. I'm okay.
Yeah.
And I think that was good because it instilled in myself to be self-sufficient. That I can always depend on myself. I don't need a piece of man.
Right.
I don't need just a man for this part and another man for this part and another man for this part. If one man can't be a whole man for me, then it's not necessary.
Right.
At all. So yeah, I
That's
appreciated it for that.
That's good wisdom.
that was a word.
That's
Yeah.
a word right there. Y'all heard that? Don't nobody need no piece of man. Don't go back to your shit. Oh, what was yours?
Lord.
Don't take no
And
wood
don't
nickels.
take no wood nickels. Can y'all understand that all goes together?
Yeah.
It
All of
really
those
does.
goes
It
together.
really does.
You don't need no piece of man that's gonna give you a wooden nickel. And when you let them go, don't go.
Exactly.
Leave that alone. And there it is.
There it is.
There
I
it
like the
is.
way you tied all of
You
that
know I
together.
can tie all that
Yeah.
together. Well, all right, guys. Thank you so much for being my guest tonight.
Absolutely.
I
Have a good
appreciate y'all.
time.
Did y'all have a good time?
I did.
Had
Thank
a
you
good
for having
time.
us.
Thank you for the
Good.
conversation.
Yes. It's like we're at my red couch at home
No.
Yeah.
because this is what we would do.
So don't forget about the Power Brunch.
I
Remember?
won't.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm
So
excited about seeing you
yes,
there.
don't forget about the Power Brunch. That is my last. Look at that. The Power Brunch. You can see the link is in. It will be in the bio of the show notes on YouTube as well on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, something else and something else. I always forget all of them. But all of those links are on my Linktree. And actually, if you go to my Linktree right now, it will take you straight to the link for the
Yes.
Power Brunch.
Perfect.
So you don't even have to look for it. Just go there, click it, and then buy your ticket. Like,
Yeah.
it's an investment in yourself. I can honestly attest to that because I'm doing stuff right now I probably wouldn't be doing because I just wouldn't.
Yeah.
Because
You step out on faith and
But why are you
Yeah.
doing those things now?
Because I have faith in myself.
yes.
And if I don't do it, it won't get done.
Yeah.
And what's the worst that could happen? What's the worst that could happen? Like, what's
Right.
gonna happen? Somebody gonna say, "Ooh, your show sucks." So does your mama. It's all good. It's all good.
Yes, indeed.
It's all good.
I like that though.
You know, so it is your
Yes.
mama. I don't care.
I like that.
Anyway, so thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you.
Please go to. You could go to my Linktree. You could go to all of our links will be in the show notes. So make sure you go to that. Follow, like, subscribe, guys. Subscribe.
You're awesome. They
Like.
should follow you. Yes.
Yes, you should follow me
Yes.
and like my things. Like my things, guys.
Like her things.
Just like my things.
I'd follow you.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, and then in June is coming up, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so a couple of things. I finished my ebook.
Yes.
My book is
Congratulations.
done. It's from the editor now. I just got to get it
Okay.
formatted and
Yay.
everything. I'm so excited.
I'm excited.
So
too.
be looking out for the ebook. And if you like this shirt, judge your mama. You will
love
be
it.
able to buy these soon as well in June. So I'm doing big
Yes.
things because
That is awesome.
why not?
Exactly.
And
Why
it's all
not?
because of Tiffany.
Oh wow, that is a tall order. But
Well, whatever.
Thank you.
I mean, she
Yes.
did coach me, and so she helped me out. So
Yes,
I appreciate her. a lot.
Janae and I have been very close as far as this business coaching piece
Mm-hmm.
is concerned, and what you see now is the result and the product of everything that we've discussed.
That's
Yeah, so
it.
we're
She made me
appreciative.
put it on paper and do it.
Yeah.
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 You ready to do that?
She
ready
put
to
you
do
on the
it?
spot.
You ready to do that,
You've
ma'am?
been doing this to me a lot lately.
I have.
Oh my God.
So you know
gosh.
how you were like, just do it. That's what I
Yeah.
told her about the podcast. I was like, what's the worst that could happen? And she was like, okay.
She's so aggressive.
And now
Okay.
you're doing it.
And now
Yeah.
she's doing it. And
Yeah.
it is what it is.
And working on, not writing a book. Y'all don't want to hear what I have to say. But everything else, yeah.
Somebody needs to hear it. So
Yeah.
you got to get it out there.
Listen. Okay.
Well, all right, kids, like our things. Go to all the links. And thank you for tuning in. Love you guys.
Thank
Love
you.
you guys. Thank you. Bye, kids. Bye.
Because
Child,
this
right,
is a dry. I live in
right.
Spring, so
Right. Same. She Baytown, I'm Spring. Yeah, it's Spring. So
I'm here 1960.
yeah, so you out there, yeah.
It's an hour and a
Yeah.
half if I leave at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, I always leave early just to get here.